Have you ever prepared for an exam but you can't finish writing your essays during exam day? And you think, well, it's because I don't write fast enough. Hi everyone, welcome to MP Jamie channel. In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips that might help you to write faster and finish your essays in time. First of all, you think that it's all about your hand muscles that you need to be able to write faster. However, before we're able to write faster during an exam to answer a question, like an essay question, I do think that we need to be equipped with the knowledge, with the preparation to be able to finish in time. Because if we do not know how to answer the question, we take a few moments, a few minutes to just think what to write, you might not finish the exam because you take too long to think on what to write. Here's where point number 1 come in. You need to prepare well. You need to read your textbook. You need to know the definitions. You need to know the pros and the cons. You need to know about the topic well so that when the question asks you about that topic, you can instantly flow and just start writing within a few seconds. For example, here's a question. Analyze the benefits to PV of outsourcing the manufacture of components for its shoes. If you don't know what is outsourcing and you don't know like what are the benefits, the general benefits of outsource, then of course it will take more time to answer this question. However, if you already have in mind like the general benefits of outsourcing, for example, like they don't need to spend a huge capital to build their own factory because they can just order from the supplier. That's an example of a benefit. If you know that general benefit, then you can quickly apply it to the case study and see which benefits do they have from the outsourcing. At least it can give you a starting point on what to write and then flow from there. Next, you need to know what actually gives you mark, like from your essay, what actually gives you mark, because not all sentences gives you mark actually. To be able to know like which part or what to write in order to be efficient and get the most marks with the shortest paragraph as possible, you can go straight to the mark schemes that Cambridge provide from its past papers, and you try to see they are the knowledge mark, there are evaluation mark, analysis mark, and also application mark. For each of the marks, you can see like they give usually an example answer like what they want to see in your essays. Then you can write about that in your answers later on. For instance, let's use the same example questions that we used just now. Analyze the benefits to PV of outsourcing the manufacture of components for its shoes. Okay, this is an important part right here. First of all, it only asks for the benefits. If you write 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs about the cons or the drawbacks, not the benefits, then sadly Cambridge can't give you any marks because they don't ask about the drawbacks, they just ask about the benefits. That's why we need to be able to understand the question and what it actually wants, not what we want to write about the topic. You get what I mean, right? Here in the mark scheme, we can see it says answers could include. For example, outsourcing is transferring functions or tasks to another organization. And if you include that, probably you can get 1 mark for the knowledge mark. I think it will go to the knowledge mark, this one. And later on in your exam, if there's a question similar to the questions that you've already read in the past papers, for example, it's a different company name, but it also asks about the benefits or the drawbacks of outsourcing. This way, you know that what you can include later on in your essays during the exam. And it creates like a memory for you, and you can access that memory more quickly during the exams because you've already read the possible answers that you can write. Below here, we can also see there's the application part. This is probably to get the application mark, which is, for example, to reference to shoes or components only without linking to other production point. Okay, if you write an answer referring to the shoes or the components only, like in your analysis you include a reference to the shoes or components, then you can also get an application mark. Let's see another question which have an evaluation mark. For instance, we can see number 4C, refer to your answers to 4A, 4B, and other relevant information. Recommend whether PV should invest in new machinery. Justify your answer. For application, for example, the first one, use made of answers from 4A. If you include like the numbers, the figures from 4A, which is the payback period, and also the accounting rate of return over the 5-year life of the investment, and also the net present value over the 5-year life of the investment, you can get an application mark in question 4C. Below here, we have the evaluation part. For example, number 1, a supported recommendation should follow consideration of pros and cons of making the investment. Okay, the question asks to recommend whether PV should invest in new machinery. And they would like to know, like in your recommendation, should they invest or should they not invest? You can state your answer like, yes, they should invest because A, B, C, D. And you need to have strong reasoning and also, I would say, weigh the pros and the cons. If you choose A to invest, for example, then you can also mention like, what are the drawbacks of investing in machinery? Even though you choose that they should still invest in the machinery. Therefore, it shows that you understand that there are pros and cons even to making either one of the decisions. And in the evaluation part, what you can do usually is to weigh up. Like, you still recommend PV to invest, even though there are some drawbacks, but you think that the benefits outweigh the drawback by a lot and it is worth it to invest in their own machinery. Also, my teacher taught me about how to structure my paragraphs well for business studies, and I like to do this usually in my essays. Like, first sentence, I usually want to strike like the knowledge mark, either 1 or 2. Usually one sentence I get 1 knowledge mark, so if I want to get 2 knowledge mark, I write like 2 sentences specific for knowledge marks, which are usually like definitions or pros and cons and the other theories that we can find in the textbook. Then I continue with 2 to 3 sentences of probably analysis, or more specifically the chains of analysis. After the analysis, I like to include an example, use an applied example from the case study to get the application marks. And lastly, maybe 1 to 2 or even 3 sentences of evaluation marks. You can weigh the pro and con, or maybe the short term and long run, and other judgments that are possible. This way, you can maximize the marks you get in each paragraph. Another thing that I like from the business studies essays, I don't know if it's also the same for other essays like economics, but in business studies, at least in my experience, I don't get reduced marks for writing the wrong answers. Therefore, I'm not scared to like write as fast as many as I could during the exam to get the most possible marks. Maybe you can do the same too, to just write what's in your mind, to write it as many as you can, to use every single minute in your exam. If you're finished like with all the questions, try to go back to your previous questions and add some answers. It might just give you an additional marks. So don't overthink on what you want to write during the exam, but just start writing, because once again, they don't punish you for writing the wrong answers. Another tip, write appropriate length for your essays for each question. For example, if the question is a 10-mark question, you might not want to write like a 3-page or 4-page essay. Maybe just 3 to 4 paragraphs are enough. This way, you cannot spend too much time on those questions and you can spend time on the other questions and finish in time. For example, for a 10-mark question, you just need to aim to get 3 knowledge mark, 2 application mark, and 5 analysis mark. Okay, that's all. If you already like write for all of that marks and even at 1 to 2 additional marks, like for example, you give like maybe 5 possible knowledge mark and also like 7 possible analysis mark, then that's really enough. You are better if you go on with the next question and finish the remaining questions to maximize your overall marks. You can also have a goal like to get the most marks from the shortest length of your answers. If you keep like that thinking in mind, then you tend to write what the mark schemes reward you with marks, and you don't include like unnecessary sentences that only waste the exam time. Last tip, how to write faster for your essays is to, you already know it, practice. Like it or not, whoever practiced and prepared well for the exam or the test, they are the ones who are able to finish it in time and also probably achieve the high marks. Because when you practice writing your essays, you know how long you will take to write each essay. Like for example, a 10-mark question, you know how long you will take to write the 10-mark questions. More than that, you also practice your hand muscles to write faster, to not get tired. Because for a 2-hour or 3-hour exam where you need to keep on writing, if we are not used to write at that length of the time, then our hands might be tired, then our handwriting might be getting messier and messier. And like a few weeks before like the exam, I will definitely recommend you to practice past papers, to write as many essays that you can in order to build your stamina in writing, and also to help you to be not like panic when you're later on in the exam faced with a lot of questions in one sitting, but you're already used to it because you've practiced it again and again and again and again. Me myself, before my teacher assessments, I also practice writing essays like by hand, not typing it in the laptop, because I know that on the D-Day I will need to be writing down my essays, not typing it. And practicing what you will actually do in your exam, like maybe if your exam use computer, then you can practice typing your answers. But if you need to write it on paper, then I would totally suggest you to practice writing it on paper, because it has a different feel of answering like on computer and also on paper. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you can write your essays faster, you can finish your exams in time and achieve the highest possible marks you can get. If you like this video, you can watch my other videos on Cambridge A-levels. And also don't forget to like this video so that there will be more likes in this video. Other than that, you can also subscribe to this channel if you want more videos from me. And see you in the next video. Bye!